Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Monday again. Um, I admittedly, boy, I could use another day or two off, but that's not the case right now. And on Mondays, I do couples therapy with my wife Jen, and that's of course an endless opportunity for self-improvement. And so today's session is very much informed by that experience. So. Today's session is about what I would call mindfulness-based empathy. So just quick reminder, what is empathy? Well, I think empathy is when we're able to be present with what's going on for another person. So their emotions, their thoughts, their moods, just whatever their experience is, without bringing our own judgments, ideas, reactivity, fill in the blank, all of that stuff. Um, to the table, right? So the ability to really just hang with someone else's experience and make space for it and give them the really the felt sense of I'm here with you. I don't need to change what's going on for you. I don't need it to be a certain way. I can literally just be present with what's alive for you. And that's of course easier said than done because as human beings, we have all kinds of sort of blockers that kick in, many of which I was reminded of this morning. So one very common empathy blocker is, when someone starts telling us something, so I had this experience and you said this and then you did that and then you responded this way, and there's this impulse to want to correct facts, or so-called facts of what the other person is saying. So no, that's not what I said, and you said this first, and so on and so forth. That's not empathy. Right now we're getting wrapped up in anything but just making space for what the other person is experiencing, explaining and justifying. So, oh, I just heard what you said, and I get that that made you, upset or angry. Let me explain to you what was going on for me. That's not empathy anymore, right? Because we've now sort of hijacked their experience and are now uh, focusing it on ourselves. Advice giving is another one that we oftentimes do. In an oversimplified way, it's like, well, maybe next time you should, and then comes some idea as to how they should behave or what they should have done with the information or the situation that happened. That's not empathy either, right? Because we're no longer in their space. We've now sort of hijacked their vulnerable expression and are basically making it our own. Sympathy or storytelling is another common one. It's like, oh yeah, when I had an experience similar to what you're describing, here's what it was like for me. And again, we're doing anything but making space for what they're experiencing. We're making it about ourselves. So basically anything that shifts the energy away from the emotional, cognitive experience that the other person had is what I would call a kind of empathy blocker. And so mindfulness is key in all of this because our ability to stay present in a non-judgmental way in the face of whatever someone else is experiencing is that mindfulness is sort of the key link here, and it's easier said than done. So I thought let's spend a few minutes today dropping into a memory where maybe some of these empathy blockers were alive for us, and just see if we can shift our state of being or our state of mind to make more space for what the other person was experiencing. So let's start just by grounding for a couple minutes. So close your eyes or just soften your gaze. I realize I always say close your eyes because that resonates for me. But if closing your eyes doesn't make sense for you, you can also just do what we call softening the gaze. So just don't focus on anything in particular out there and just see if you can bring your attention inward. Let's start just by noticing our body right here, right now, sitting, maybe it's laying down, And just notice, just open up to a kind of raw attention or a raw noticing of like, oh yeah, this is what it's like to be inhabiting this body in this moment right now. And what do you notice about the body in this moment? What do you notice about the feet, legs, your torso, the back, the spine, hands and the arms, and the neck and the head? Basically making direct contact with what it's like to have a body in this moment right now. And when it comes to empathy, there's sort of two flavors of empathy. One is for another person or others outside of us. And then, of course, there's also self empathy, like being able to just notice that, oh, right now the body's experiencing certain sensations or emotions, just making space for that. See if you can bring to mind a situation where you were interacting with someone else, and it was kind of triggering. Could be someone that you know well, could be a stranger. Maybe you're in your car or you're at the dentist's office. It really doesn't matter, but just some situation in which you were interacting with somebody else and they were behaving in a way that just didn't feel good to you, doesn't make sense to you. Think of the news cycle these days and many characters we see on TV or online. And then notice them expressing themselves either with behaviors or words. And then notice your reaction to what they're saying or what they're doing. Get curious. How's what they're saying or doing impacting you, and where do you feel it? And as you're hearing them say stuff, notice if there's a part of you that wants to correct them. I experience this a lot when I listen to podcasts, or I'm sort of catching up on the daily news. I notice there's this part of me that constantly wants to correct and say, that's not true. That's not what happened. That's not how it is. And just notice that part for a moment. And then see if you can throw the switch and just say, this is not about validating the facts of what they're saying, but really just noticing, oh, Person is having an experience, and let me see if I can drop in and just relate to what they might be experiencing. Sometimes that's really hard because it doesn't make sense to us, but that's not the point. The point is the effort, just making space that they're having an experience that makes sense to them, and to get curious as to whether or not we can sort of feel into that. And then notice the part of you that probably wants to speak up, or maybe you did speak up in the situation, and there's a yeah, but, and here comes the explaining, the justifying. Here's why you're wrong and I'm right. Again, just notice that part because we all have it. Just become mindful that that's part of this interaction, this person. When we have opinions and judgments, we very quickly slide into advice giving. So you know what the way you should be thinking about this, or what you should be doing instead of what you're doing is, again, that's a very natural part of us wanting to be seen and heard, but it does get in the way of really just empathizing with what is happening on their end. The idea here is to not get down on ourselves and telling ourselves that we should or shouldn't be doing anything, but it's simply beginning to notice that, oh yeah, all of this stuff is present in these interactions. This is what I bring to the table. My ideas, my judgments, and as valid as they might be, just noticing how they disrupt our capacity to simply be with what it is that the other person is doing or saying. And just be aware of that. Take a deep breath in. And slow exhale out, shaking off this memory of this potentially uncomfortable interaction. And then hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in and out. Again, just letting go, remembering that we're right here, right now, letting go of that memory, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, open your eyes. I wish we could keep going on longer. The invitation in this meditation is simply to become aware and mindful of the part of us that um, sort of interrupts other people's experiences and wants to be seen and heard, and how that sort of interrupts our ability to actually receive them in the way that they're experiencing themselves. So hope that landed. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.